let's talk about the reason for doing business. Now, within Sandler, we talk about pain as being the reason for doing business. And you'll remember from our 5 quick wins that we said that without an ounce of pain, there's really going to be no deal. So what do we mean by pain? Well, we always talk in sales, don't we, about needs. And you've probably heard other salespeople and maybe even other sales trainers talking about doing a needs analysis to understand what it is that the prospect or the prospective client actually needs in their world. But in Sandler, we believe that just doesn't go far enough, because a need is usually a problem that's there to be solved. It's part of the gap between where somebody is today and where it is they want to be, but it's not enough to really guarantee action. I mean, it might cause action, but it's not enough to guarantee it. The thing that actually guarantees action is motivation, and motivation comes from some level of discomfort or pain. Let me give you an example. And before I start this story, by the way, spoiler alert, it has a happy ending. So I had a friend, luckily I still have a friend, like I said, happy ending, who was somewhat overweight. He was around about 22 stone at his peak. And he had, as you would expect, some of the problems that come along with that kind of excessive weight. He had type 2 diabetes. He was hypertensive, which means he had high blood pressure. He was clearly putting some real strain on his heart, and he was really wheezing and struggling to get upstairs and even to do any kind of form of basic exercise. And if you were a dietitian or you were a physical trainer, a personal trainer, then you would say, well, this man has got some problems that I can solve, and you'd be right. But the thing is, he didn't see the motivation for actually solving the problems, because they weren't really having a significant enough impact on his life in terms of causing actual pain. There might have been a bit of discomfort there, it's not pleasant wheezing when you go upstairs. It's not pleasant not being able to move around as quickly as other people. It's not pleasant having to inject yourself with insulin every single day. But it wasn't a big enough problem for him to solve. He could live with all of those things, and I think it's fair to say that as human beings, we all have a capacity to live with a certain amount of discomfort. What you have to ascertain as a salesperson is the problem that your prospective client got the sort of problem that they can live with, or the sort of problem that they really do need to solve and they understand that they need to solve it. Now, my friend, these days, he has actually lost a lot of weight, and he's now living very healthily. His lifestyle is good. He exercises very regularly. He's reduced his portion sizes, reduced his calorie intake. But the thing that caused him to do that was a heart attack. What we need to do as salespeople is we need to prevent the heart attack happening for our prospective clients. How do we do that? We ask the right sorts of questions up front to help our prospective clients to self-discover what's really going on in their world, to understand not only the problem, which they probably do understand, but also its potential impact if they don't solve it. What's the bad stuff that's going to happen over the next 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, whatever it is, if we don't solve this problem? What are the financial consequences of not solving that problem? Let's put a number on this thing so that it can really start to dig in deep, because that will help with the next stage when we talk about establishing the budget. So really what we're looking for here is asking the right sorts of questions to be able to get inside what's happening here. So when you see a problem, we'll call that a pain indicator. It means the pain might be there. When you see that, you then ask the question of the prospect, what does that mean? Why is that a problem? Tell me more. Explain this to me. And when they say, well, I've got this, and this happening, you say, okay, and what does that mean? Keep on asking questions until you feel like you've really started to understand what's really going on. And then, take them on a little journey. Say, well, okay, let's pretend that we don't solve that for the next 6 months. What's changed? You can live with that. And then they will actually start to explain to you, well, no, we can't live with it because of X, Y, and Z. And then you can actually really start to drill into it, and you start to get something that looks like it's actionable pain, a motivation for actually potentially doing business. And when you really understand the pain and you understand the real reasons for doing business, that is the first step in genuinely qualifying a prospect as a potential client.